Hello, I am Benjamin Guthrie. I'm grateful to have been asked to record a short video for the LUMS Career Fair regarding my own career and experience with business and human rights, which I hope will be of some small help to others who are interested in doing business and human rights work as well. So let me start with an introduction. I'm an associate in the New York office of the law firm Herbert Freehills, which has a top-ranked business and human rights practice. As an associate at a law firm, my work with business and human rights has involved providing advice to clients, generally multinational companies, on international human rights standards and how to handle particular situations that have human rights implications. To give you a bit more flavor for the work, that advice can take different forms. It can be forward-looking advice, such as what steps a company can or should take to ensure that it is operating in a way that is respectful of human rights and minimizes the risk to both the company and to stakeholders. You could think of this as preventative work, trying to avoid adverse human rights impacts. And there's also advice in response to particular events. To give you an example, a company might be faced with allegations of human rights abuses somewhere in its supply chain. The work in that case involves assessing the allegations, determining to what extent they're true, and if they are, trying to understand the cause and help the client identify what should be done to remediate the problem and prevent it from recurring. Now, of course, my own experience is just one example of business and human rights work. There is work in many other environments, such as in-house counsel, nonprofits, government, academia, that will look different. One other thing I think it's important to point out is that business and human rights work is not all that I do. Much of my practice is in the field of international arbitration. And I think it's important when thinking about career and business and human rights, realize it's not necessarily an all or nothing proposition. A lot of the people I've crossed paths with also don't do exclusively business and human rights work, although some do. That can be true in a law firm setting, but also, for example, in an in-house counsel setting. Imagine that you work as in-house counsel for a company that sells consumer products and your particular area of work is contracting. The human rights practices of the companies you are contracting with may be very important to your employer and therefore to your job, even if most of your day is spent on quote-unquote ordinary domestic contract law issues, negotiating contracts, drafting clauses, etc. So in thinking about career and business and human rights, it's possible to think about both a career in business and human rights that is focused exclusively on the issue, but also a career that involves business and human rights. That is, a career that's not necessarily limited to that issue, that is, it also encompasses other areas of law, but which touches on, which it needs an understanding of business and human rights to be done well. And the last thing I'll say, in the hopes that it is helpful, is what I think helped me get involved in this field. One thing that was helpful was taking courses in international law during law school. Business and human rights is becoming increasingly domesticized, but generally has its roots in international soft law, so understanding the international legal arena is very helpful. Another thing that was helpful was also during law school, participating in a clinic focused on business and human rights. As in so many things, one experience often leads to another. And in my case, my experience during law school helped me say, yes, I'm interested in that, and I know at least something about that when I had the chance to get involved in some projects in the field after beginning my practice. And if you're no longer a student, pro bono work can be a good way to develop some experience. And as I mentioned, one door often opens the next. I will end with that, but thank you kindly for your attention and hope this will be of some help.